Welcome back! My name is Baller Scuba. This is Video Games Over Time. We are still in 1985. Today, we're going to talk about the Oregon Trail. The story of the Oregon Trail takes us to the MEC. The Minnesota Educational Computing Consortium, or MEC, was originally founded in 1971 by the Minnesota State Legislature as a joint powers authority. Its goal was to study and coordinate computer use in schools throughout the state. It was around this time that the first game of the Oregon Trail appeared. Developed by Don Rawitsch, the 1971 version of the Oregon Trail is a text-based strategy game. Rawitsch, a history teacher and college student at the time, programmed the game at Jordan Junior High School in Minneapolis. He would get help from his classmates Bill Heineman and Paul Dillenberger. Programmed in just 2 weeks, the game was designed as a supplement to Rawitsch's history course. It was introduced to his students on December 3, 1971. It proved to be very popular, with students and other teachers reserving the limited computer time at the school to play the game. Despite being loved by the students, it was deleted at the end of the semester. Luckily, before the game was deleted, the game's source code was printed out onto paper. In 1974, Rawitsch recreated the game for the MEC. This game's goal was to be used for entry-level community college students. Rawitsch got permission from Heineman and Dillenberger to copy the code and spent his free time reprogramming the game. He would include enhancements to the game, such as the probabilities of certain events, bad weather, the wagons breaking down, and added more positive depictions of Native Americans. This version was added to the MEC's network, where it could be accessed by schools across Minnesota. This version would become the most popular software in Minnesota schools for 5 years, getting thousands of players every month. However, Rawitsch, Heineman, and Dillenberger were not publicly acknowledged as the creators of the original game. That would not happen until 1995 at a public ceremony at the Mall of America. Throughout the late 70s and early 80s, the MEC started moving away from mainframe computers to microcomputers, particularly the Apple II. The original Oregon Trail game would be ported to these systems, seeing versions for the Apple II, Atari computers, and the Commodore 64 by 1984. The MEC began selling their games to schools outside Minnesota as well. While the Oregon Trail was the best seller, Lemonade Stand was also popular. This game, developed by Bob Jamieson, is a business simulation where the player runs a lemonade stand. In 1984, the MEC decided to update their popular titles for the home market, particularly for the Apple II. This meant creating entirely new games that were more entertaining to take advantage of the updates to the computer industry, particularly adding graphics. To update the game, the MEC turned to R. Philip Bouchard, one of their employees. R. Philip Bouchard worked on the game's development for 10 months, enlisting programmer John Krenz, artist Sherilyn Kaplinger, and researcher Shirley Caron to help with the project. The game was greatly expanded and became much longer, with more decisions and more focus on the local geography of the trail. Multiple human characters and types of diseases were added, as well as music that would have been popular at the time. The hunting minigame was expanded and changed. A new minigame for the ending was added as well. While Bouchard did go over budget and went past the timeline, his team was able to accomplish every goal they had for the project. The Oregon Trail is an educational strategy game. The player plays as the leader of a wagon train of settlers. These settlers are traveling down the actual Oregon Trail from Independence, Missouri to the Willamette Valley in Oregon in 1848. These settlers are mostly looking to establish a new life for themselves on the west coast of the United States. The player begins by selecting a profession for themselves, which acts as a difficulty level for the game. Depending on what is chosen, the player will get a different amount of starting money. The player will then name their character and their 4 party members before purchasing supplies for the journey. The party then sets out from Independence, Missouri. The trail is divided into 16 segments in the game, each ending at a landmark. Each landmark gives the player several choices on how to proceed, including purchasing more supplies or how to cross a river. There are a few cutoffs or shortcuts that the player can choose to take, including rafting down the Columbia River at the end in a minigame. Along the journey, random events can happen, such as bad weather or a party member getting sick. The player can stop at any point to deal with things like the travel pace, the amount of food rations, stop to rest, trade with other parties, or hunt for food. Hunting is done in a minigame where they will shoot animals that appear at random. The player can stop at any time, though only a maximum of 100 pounds of meat can be taken in each hunt. Should the player reach the Willamette Valley, or should all 5 members of the party die, the game will end. If all the party members die along the journey, the game will show a gravestone with the party leader's name on it. On later playthroughs, the player can view that gravestone on their new journey. Should the player succeed and make it to the Willamette Valley, the player will be given a score and can attempt to get a high score. MEC released the Oregon Trail to Apple II computers in 1985. That is a backstory to the Oregon Trail. With that told, it's time to play the game for ourselves. And here we are in the game. This is the Oregon Trail, as you might have seen on the very quick splash screen. Copyright 1985 by MEC, but we kind of talked about that already. So, let's get into the Oregon Trail, I guess. It's not really giving us a lot of background information. Before we get started, I should talk about pronunciations just a little bit. I do live in Oregon, at the end of the Oregon Trail. I actually live in the Willamette Valley. So in terms of pronunciation, I'm going to go with what the locals here call everything. But know that in other parts of the country and other parts of the world, people do like to pronounce things a little bit differently. First off, Oregon, not Oregon. Oregon seems to be an Eastern United States pronunciation, an East Coast thing, but we here pronounce it Oregon. We also pronounce it the Willamette Valley. I don't make the rules. I know it doesn't look like that when you type it out, but it is Willamette. It took me a little bit to learn that when I moved here, but I always said Willamette, but it is Willamette. That's how people say it. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and see what options we have here. We'll go ahead and start by learning about the trail. Try taking a journey by covered wagon across 2,000 miles of plains, rivers, and mountains. Try. On the plains, will you slosh your oxen through mud and water-filled ruts, or will you plod through dust 6 inches deep? How will you cross the rivers? If you have money, you might take a ferry, if there is a ferry, or you can ford the river and hope you and your wagon aren't swallowed alive. What about supplies? Well, if you're low on food, you can hunt. You might get a buffalo. You might. And there are bear in the mountains. At the Dalles, you can try navigating the Columbia River, but if running the rapids with a makeshift raft makes you queasy, better take the Barlow Road. It is the Dalles. That is the name of the city. I haven't actually been to the Dalles, but we typically pronounce or capitalize the T in the Dalles because the name of the city is the Dalles. It's not Dalles, it's the Dalles. I don't make the rules, but I haven't been there yet. I hear it's very pretty, that whole drive. I've only taken a little bit of it. If for some reason you don't survive, your wagon burns, or thieves steal your oxen, or you run out of provisions, or you die of cholera, don't give up. Try again and again until your name is up with the others on the Oregon Top 10. Yes, die of cholera, not dysentery. Just kind of throwing that out, and then you may use these colors to adjust your monitor or television. That looks good to me. Control S key. You may turn the sound on or off during the program by pressing Control S. We'll see if that actually works for me. All right, so we could see the Oregon top 10, but it doesn't really matter. So let's just go ahead and get into it, see what I can do. I will say that you only get points in this game if you make it all the way to basically Portland, if you make it to the Willamette Valley. So we'll see what we can do. My choice is number 1, let's travel the trail. Many kinds of people made the trip to Oregon. You may, number 1, be a banker from Boston. 2, be a carpenter from Ohio. 3, be a farmer from Illinois. Or 4, find out the differences between these choices. What is your choice? Let's find out what the differences are, even though I kind of already know. Traveling to Oregon isn't easy, but if you're a banker, you'll have more money for supplies and services than a carpenter or a farmer. However, the harder you have to try, the more points you deserve. Therefore, the farmer earns the greatest number of points, and the banker earns the least. I think this first time through, we'll just see if I can make it. So we'll do the banker just to give myself the best chance of making it all the way across. So we will start as a banker from Boston, gives ourselves the most money, even though it's going to cost us points if I make it. That is a big if. Okay. What is the first name of the wagon leader? All right, so first names only. What I have decided is to go online and find an Oregon Trail name generator. Just put some old-timey names in here. So I'm going to hit the button, tell you what it says, and then I'll put in something that kind of accounts for that. All right, first one it gave me was Crackerjack Clyde, but we can only put Clyde in there. Crackerjack just will not fit. All right, let's put up a next one. Balderdash Bo. Bo's a good name. What do we got next? Navajo Newton. No comment on that. We will just put Newton in there. Then we have Dough Puncher Hattie. I have no comment on that one either. That's just what the name generator tells me. These would be names that would be popular in 1848, though. Cattle Tipper Cassidy. I've heard about like cattle tipping and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think you can actually, tip a cow. I don't think it works. But we got Clyde, Bo, Newton, Hattie, and Cassidy. That works out. Those are good names. Let's go with those. Yes, those names are correct enough, at least. We won't go with the nicknames, but Clyde, Bo, Newton, Hattie, and Cassidy, those are good Oregon Trail names. Going back to 1848. It is 1848. Your jumping off place for Oregon is Independence, Missouri. You must decide which month to leave Independence. What you want to do is you want to go in March. That's your best bet. You can ask for advice. What does the advice say? You attend a public meeting held for folks with the California-Oregon fever. You're told if you leave too early, there won't be any grass for your oxen to eat. If you leave too late, you may not get to Oregon before winter comes. If you leave at just the right time, there will be green grass and the weather will still be cool. That doesn't really tell you what to do, but we're going to go for March. We want as much time as possible. We don't want to be stuck in the Sierra Nevada or Sierra Nevada. I've heard that one pronounced both ways. I think it is the Sierra Nevada. You don't want to be stuck there during winter. That's how you end up like the Donner Party, which for people that don't know, bad things happen to the Donner Party, and let's just say the survivors were shunned for life. We'll start in March here. All right, before leaving Independence, you should buy equipment and supplies. You have $1,600 in cash, but you don't have to spend it all now. And we won't. We will actually save quite a bit of money, and then we will try to get necessary supplies and stuff like that on the trail. You can buy whatever you need at Matt's General Store. Hello, I'm Matt, so you're going to Oregon. I can fix you up with what you need. A team of oxen to pull your wagon, clothing for both summer and winter, plenty of food for the trip, ammunition for your rifles, spare parts for your wagon. I think that's it. That is it. Okay, so Why our party and our family doesn't have clothing of their own, I'm not entirely sure. But the strategy here is to kind of save money. This will probably be the same strategy that I use when I am a farmer. But once again, we're going to try our best. A lot of people have played this game. A lot of people hold this game very dear to their heart. So I'm going to try my best. But just know that I didn't play this version growing up. So my knowledge is a little different in terms of what I need to do in order to set myself up. So I found somebody that gave me some recommendations, and I'm going to kind of just stick with those. We will start with oxen. There are 2 oxen in a yoke. I recommend at least 3 yoke. I charge $40 a yoke. I want 3 yokes, so I'm going to have 6 oxen. That seems excessive, but what do I know? I don't know anything about oxen or wagons, but we're going to go with 6 oxen total on 3 yokes. All right, so there's 120 gone. Let's go ahead and buy some food. We don't actually want to buy a lot of food. I recommend you take at least 200 pounds of food for each person in your family. I see that you have 5 people in all. You'll need flour, sugar, bacon, and coffee. My price is 20 cents a pound. For whatever reason, it's just kind of all lumped together into food. I guess that picture does not describe what we're getting. I see the flour. I think I see coffee. I think I see sugar. But then there's 2 other things. One is clearly a ham, not bacon, a ham. And the other, I don't know. But anyway, like I said, we're not going to get a lot of food. We're going to get 50 pounds of food. And that's not a lot, right? He recommended 200. I'm going to go with 50. You know what? I have some extra money to burn. We'll go with the recommended 200. That makes sense, I guess. We'll spend some extra money there than I would if I was a farmer. Next, for clothing, we want 14 sets. You'll need warm clothing in the mountains. I recommend taking at least 2 sets of clothes per person. Each set is $10. And the reason that I'm kind of going a little bit more on the clothing is that I can't necessarily make clothing out on the road, or on the trail, I should say. There's no road, there's only a trail. But food I can hunt for. So we'll go with 14 sets of clothing there. Ammunition. I sell ammunition in boxes of 20 bullets. Each box costs $2. We want 20 boxes of ammunition. We're going to be doing quite a bit of hunting. So that's 400 bullets. That should be enough, but it's all a matter of luck. And we'll get into the hunting. I have been practicing a little bit, but probably not enough. I'm used to being able to use a mouse, but that's not what this version does. Then we have spare parts. Spare parts are for the wagon. It's a good idea to have a few spare parts for your wagon. Here are the prices each. How many wagon wheels? We want 2 wagon wheels, 2 axles, and 2 tongues. So the wheels are the wheels. The axles are what is basically the round bar, more or less, between the wheels, and then the tongue is the round bar, basically connecting the oxen to the wagon. And I believe it also accounts for the bar between the axles, I believe. Once again, my knowledge of wagons is a little lacking here, but that should be good to go. I have basically quadrupled the food budget that I would have if I was a farmer otherwise. $400, not bad. I would basically just be left with 370. So I'd be left with like $30 if I was a farmer, because they start with 400. Either way, we are good to go, and I think we will actually start hearing some music now. Well then, you're ready to start? Good luck. You have a long and difficult journey ahead of you. Now loading the wagon. And Yankee Doodle Dandy. And then it just loops. All right, so we have heard the song. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off because that was particularly loud. But that is Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle Dandy. I'll give you the lyrics. I did have to look them up because it's been a while since I've actually sang the song and stuff like that. But it goes, Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle Dandy, mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. I have very little to say about that, but those are the lyrics of. I will say that originally it was, I guess, the British making fun of the Americans. That was how the song happened, but apparently the Americans like it and just kind of adopted it for themselves. Okay, so before we head out, right? It is cold. Our health is good. Our pace is steady, and our fat rations are filling. That doesn't sound good to me. We'll start by looking at the map. And there we are. We are in Independence, Missouri. There you can see our finish line is in Portland. That's Portland right there. The Willamette Valley. Independence, Missouri. And then our first stop will be a fort. Then there's a couple landmarks. We don't have a route so far. There's some rivers and mountains in the way. Right at the end there, we can hopefully get around the Sierra Nevada. We'll find a pass through the Rocky Mountains, which is the big mountain range kind of in the middle of our trek there. But hopefully with those rivers, it won't be too bad. It's not like we're going through Denver. Right? Right. Okay. So let's go ahead and change our pace. What we're going to do is try to do things as best as we can. We're going to go as fast as we can, which is grueling. We're going to have a grueling pace here. And then we are going to change our food rations. Filling, meager, or bare bones? Bare bones it is. We're in a good starting spot here, so let's go ahead and do what we can to make it at least to the first stop without having any problems. Let's go ahead and continue on the trail, and we'll go all the way to basically the Kansas River without doing anything. I thought I turned you off. There we go. Off. From Independence is 102 miles to the Kansas City crossing. Kansas River crossing, not the Kansas City crossing. Kansas River. Let's go and do what we can. We can hit return at any time to kind of just stop on our path, but here we go. We're going 33 miles each time. There's a severe blizzard. We lost a day because of that, but we should otherwise be fine. We have plenty of food and all that. All right, you are now at the Kansas River crossing. Would you like to look around? We will look around, yes. Pretty. There's the Kansas River. Yes, I'm going to go with Kansas. Arkansas would be different, even though it's spelled Arkansas. So we can continue on the trail. We can check supplies, look at the map, all that kind of stuff. But for now, I think we are good. Let's just go ahead and continue on the trail. And now we have to figure out what to do with the river. You must cross the river in order to continue. The river at this point is currently 654 feet across and 8.2 feet deep in the middle. That is deep. Our wagon is probably somewhere in the range of 10 feet tall to 20 feet tall, so things aren't looking good for our wagon if we just tried to go across. So what are our options? We can attempt to ford the river. As I just said, that is bad. Anything over, I believe, 3 feet deep is going to basically be disastrous for us if we try to do that. Number 2, we could caulk the wagon and float it across. We could take a ferry across. That will cost money. Or we could wait to see if conditions improve, or we could try to get more information. Let's say more information. What more information do you have for me? To ford a river means to pull your wagon across a shallow part of the river with the oxen still attached. To caulk the wagon means to seal it so that no water can get in. The wagon can then be floated across like a boat. To use a ferry means to put your wagon on top of a flat boat that belongs to someone else. The owner of the ferry will take your wagon across the river. Well, there's your more information, kind of going into depth about that. Let's go ahead and caulk the wagon and float it across. The Kansas River isn't too quick, so we should be fine here. Let's see, though. This is where everything gets tested. You had no trouble floating the wagon across. What can happen is if the river is too fast, the pace of the river is too much, I guess you could say, your wagon can tip and you can lose a whole bunch of supplies and people doing that. But the Kansas River, you're usually pretty good caulking it and floating it across. Not that they give you a lot of information at that. From the Kansas River crossing, it is 83 miles to the Big Blue River crossing. I don't like the sound of Big Blue, but let's go ahead and we'll go a little bit here. Okay, how far? 43 and stop right there. They wouldn't let me stop. I don't like that. I wanted to stop and they didn't let me. I wanted to stop before the Blue River. Basically, before the Big Blue River, I wanted to do some hunting, but we didn't get a chance. It's fine. I have plenty of food, but if I was a farmer, that would have been pretty bad for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and look around. Look at the Big Blue River crossing. Ooh. Okay, so we can continue on the trail, check supplies, look at the map, change the pace, change the food rations, stop to rest, attempt to trade, or talk to people. We're making really fast progress here, so let's go ahead and stop to rest. And we will rest for 2 days. Should be fine. Okay. Then, I mean, we can try to talk to people, but I typically don't do that too often. Party leader heading east tells you, "We've had enough pesky flies all day and mosquitoes all night. It's either baking sun or oceans of mud, and sometimes both. Worry over Indians attacking? Haven't seen any yet, but still a worry." They call them Indians in this game. They called them Indians in 1848. There's a few things in 1848 we don't do anymore. Let's go ahead and see what I can do here. We'll continue. I don't really want to continue on the trail, but let's go ahead and continue on the trail, see what it says for us. You must cross the river in order to continue. The river at this point is currently 256 feet across and 5.9 feet deep in the middle. That is too deep for us. So we will wait at this point. Camp near the river for a day. It's deeper now. Let's wait again. Like, we should have plenty of food for this. Okay, so 6.4 feet deep. That's basically what we're doing. All right, 5.9 feet, about Mark Twain. Let's go ahead and do that again. That's a Louisiana thing. About six feet is 2 fathoms. Mark Twain. It's marked as Twain. Anyway, it's before Mark Twain. Let's go ahead and wait again. Probably going to have to wait until about the 22nd or so for the river to kind of get to the point where I need it to be. 4.6, 4.2. I'm waiting for it to be under 2.5. So that's our goal. Like I said, we're pretty early here. I wanted to go hunting for a bit, but it didn't work out. All right, so there's 22nd. Still too high, though. 2.9, 2.7, we're getting there. 2.5 feet. We'll do one more just to be safe. 2.4, good enough. Let's go ahead and attempt to ford the river. You can caulk and go across, but fording is probably safer for us. Just go for it. I also could have tried to build a taller wagon, but I guess that wasn't my call. It was a muddy crossing, but you did not get stuck. Hooray, we made it. Go oxen. Okay, from the Big Blue River crossing, it is 119 miles to Fort Kearny. Let's go. Thank you. All right, we got where we need to go. So the grueling pace is probably a little bit too fast at this point. Let's go ahead and do a strenuous pace. You know what? We'll stick with grueling for now. And instead of that, we will hunt for food. And we'll take a look at how hunting works. You can do the return key to start or stop walking. You can point the rifle with the arrow keys or with kind of this funky thing, IOPK, semicolon, comma, period, and forward slash. I believe that's forward slash, and then the space bar. It gets funky. I'm not a huge fan of the system. I've been trying it, but we'll see what I can do. Okay, we'll walk a little bit, try to get into the middle here, and then not be able to hit anything. All right. I'm not a fan of this system at all. All right, got a squirrel. Deer was a little bit too far for me. Nope. Ideally, you want 2 pounds per bullet. So it didn't work out. Let's try shooting again. Let's try doing this again. And we'll see what I can do. Ideally, I want to... Oh, that was a buffalo. I want a buffalo. If I get a buffalo, like, we are so good. But easier said than done when they're all around us like that. We might have to do it again. This isn't working out well for me. There were already a lot of animals that just showed up and left. Yeah. Sometimes you just don't get lucky. We'll try one more time, and I think that takes up a day to do that. Let's try to get into the middle here. There's a buffalo. I really want to try to get in there, but like if they're just going to show up, hit something, and leave, then there's not much that I can do. There was another buffalo. Saw the tree and left. Because they'll walk right up to me, but jeez. I'm going to get some food here. All right, we're already in a good spot-ish. Let's see what I can do here. I'm not a fan of the way this works. Does anything want to show up? No! I don't think I got the buffalo. I didn't. Oh, come on. One buffalo will do it for me. That's all I really want. That is a terrible position. No! How dare things just kind of show up like that? Okay, somewhere around here. What? That was the wrong button. Buffalo! Done! Doesn't matter. I don't need to shoot anymore because you can only bring 100 pounds back to the wagon. There were the buffalo alone is 979 pounds of meat. What happens to the rest of the animal, the 879 other pounds of meat? I don't know. I think it's just left behind, knowing people from the 1800s. But that's all we need to do. That will hold us for now. Check supplies, right? 389 bullets, and I have 148 pounds of food. That's probably good for now. Okay. We'll move on. You might notice that we don't have like medicine or anything like that. Basically, food cures it, and we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and head out here. And we'll just go and keep going. You pass a gravesite. Would you like to look closer? No, we'll move on. It's not me, so I don't care. Somebody apparently didn't even make it here. You are now at Fort Kearny. Would you like to look around? Let's go ahead and look around. There's Fort Kearny for us. I don't know where Fort Kearny is. Is it Kansas? I could look that up. Let me look that up. Fort Kearny is in Nebraska. Fair enough. A little bit north of Kansas, but, well, yeah? Yeah. I'm doubting everything I know about everything at this point. Let's go ahead and buy supplies. Well, we can talk to people first. What do you have to say? Big Louie tells you the Platte River Valley forms a natural roadway from Fort Kearny to Fort Laramie. Travelers bound for California, Utah, and Oregon all take this road. Could be the easiest stretch of the whole trip. Should see antelope and plenty of buffalo. I don't think at this time people were going to Utah. Just throwing that out there, but it's possible. That's usually a later thing. Let's go ahead and buy supplies. I have the money. Let's go ahead and buy food. As you can see, though, things are more expensive here. There's basically an inflation that happens the further west you get because it's harder to get food out there is the idea. I'm not sure how true that is. I'm just telling you that's how it works. We'll buy 50 more pounds. And then ammunition, one more box. Try to resupply on that. Let's go ahead and get out. But everything else we should be fine. So from Fort Kearny, we're ready to go to Chimney Rock. Okay, we'll go as far as we can here. All right, now we're going like at a good pace, 40 miles a day. And our food is good. Wrong trail. We lost 4 days because of that. You guys need to pay attention. Let's keep going. That's one of those random events that we were talking about. And there is Chimney Rock. You're now at Chimney Rock. Of course we'll try to look. You guys made some nice pictures. I'll take a look at it. Ooh, Chimney Rock. Where is Chimney Rock? Chimney Rock is apparently a couple things that can't be possibly it. Where is it? I think we're still in Nebraska, but yes, near the town of Bayard, Nebraska. So it's still Nebraska, but there you go, Chimney Rock. We can talk to people here, not that it really matters, but we'll see what we have to say. Celinda Hines tells you, Chimney Rock by moonlight is awful sublime. Many Indians came to our wagon with fish to exchange for clothing. We bought a number. They understand swap and no swap. Seem most anxious to get shirts and socks. Moving on. We'll just go ahead and continue on the trail. We should be good for a while here. And now things have changed. From Chimney Rock, it is 86 miles to Fort Laramie. And once again, health is bad. Let's go ahead and... health, it said, was poor. Let's go ahead and change our food rations to filling. And then we will go hunting. Let's do what we can here. Okay, I'm just going to hang out here. No, the bush got in my way. So if that's going to be the case, I'm going to... I can't get around that. I want to be on this side of it then. Okay. Boom. Buffalo's all I need. 893 pounds. I got 100 back. Okay. So we should be good at this point. Let's go ahead and continue on the trail. I might have to lower the pace as well, but we'll see what I can do as is. Inadequate grass. Oh no! Very little water. Okay, to continue on your journey, flip the diskette to side 2, which I should be able to do here. I've had trouble with this in the past. Let's see if it works. All right, we're good. You are now at Fort Laramie. Would you like to look around? Let's take a look at Fort Laramie. Ooh, let me look at some of these. Fort Laramie is in... They don't want to tell me all this stuff, but I believe we're still in Nebraska. Nope, we are in Wyoming now. Hooray, Wyoming. Okay, we will stop to rest here a bit. 3 days should be fine. Get our health back up a bit. 2 more days. Let's try to get my health up more. Really? I want to get in good health. I'm gonna try one more time, otherwise then we're gonna have to move. There we go. All right, so I'll buy some supplies. Mostly just food at this point. I have so much money, I might as well spend it on this as we go on. Let's go with 200 because we're doing all right for ourselves. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on the trail and keep going. To Independence Rock. Okay, let's go for that as I look up where Independence Rock is. Inadequate grass. Oh no. It is in Wyoming as well. So we're going to be in Wyoming for a while. There's the rock. Bad water. Everybody's in fair condition at the end of it, though. We will look around because I do want to change the rations as well. There's Independence Rock with a whole bunch of people writing their names on it because, of course, they did. Okay. Let's go ahead and change our rations a bit. We will go with meager rations. And we'll talk to people. I don't really want to trade. A young boy tells you, I carved my name way up the side of Independence Rock near the top. There are hundreds of names up there. The oldest ones were carved by mountain men and fur trappers. Famous names like Fremont, Bonneville, and De Smet. They're not famous anymore. Maybe Fremont, but no. Not for people, at least. Okay, so let's continue on. See what we can do here. To South Pass, that is our goal. Once I get to like around 50 pounds, I'll go hunting again. Bo has measles. Okay, we're going to need to stop. And we're going to have to change our pace and go strenuous and change our food rations to filling and go hunting. Let's see what I can find. Notice that a lot of things have changed here. We're going to need to go up there a bit before I can shoot anything. That was... okay, I didn't expect that to happen. Almost. Yeah, can't shoot you. How did I miss? Gotcha. All right, so that's something. Yeah, 2 pounds of meat. Let's go hunting again. I guess that's a decent spot. No! Gotcha. Okay, done. Got the buffalo. I said I'm not a fan of this control scheme. But yeah, no point in shooting anything else. No point. Just waiting around. Anything else would be a waste. Okay. So we're good to go. Let's go ahead and continue now. And right, we'll see if we can't. Very little water. And we've made it to South Pass. Let's go ahead and take a look around. Ooh. Okay. So South Pass is where we get our first choice. We can talk to people, see if they give us some advice on this. A Mormon traveler tells you, very, very early for Mormons, just throwing it out there. My family and I travel with 40 other families to the Valley of the Great Salt Lake to seek religious freedom. That would be true, but like I said, it'd be rare to see a Mormon at this point, I would say. Back east, Mormons are persecuted. In Utah, we'll join together and build a new community, changing desert into farmland. That is the goal. All I got to say about that. Let's go ahead and continue on the trail. So I think we're going to be okay here. So we have two options. We can head for the Green River crossing, we can head for Fort Bridger, or we can look at the map. Let's look at the map and try to figure out which way to go. So that is the trail that we have gone so far. We're going to go kind of the harder pass. It all depends. Really, rivers are the main risk here in the game, so we want to avoid the river. So you can kind of see, you can kind of go south, or you can go kind of north. That's why it's South Pass and not. We're going to head for Fort Bridger, which is the southern pass, and hopefully the river's not too bad down there. That's kind of the mentality here. Okay. Let's go ahead and go. I probably should have changed my pace a bit because people are fine. We'll go with bare bones and grueling pace. And so far things have been going fine for us. We'll do one more round of hunting just to try to get as much food as I can. God. Bear! And once again, the bear should be enough. Apparently I can kill a bear with one bullet. Not sure that's necessarily the case in real life. But then again, I don't hunt bear in real life. I don't hunt anything in real life. Not a hunter. All right, so 102 pounds of meat. There's not as much meat on a bear as there is a buffalo, but that's as much as I can carry anyway, so we are good to go at this point. Let's go ahead and continue. All right, so we're going to try to make it to the fort. The fort is a longer journey, but I would say it is better, and we need to, we're going to rest a couple days. We're going to change our food rations, go with filling, because our health is poor now. And then we are going to change our pace to strenuous. Okay, let's continue on. I know we're already there, basically, but a thief comes during the night and steals 5 oxen. That's not cool at all. Yeah, look at Fort Bridger. Ooh, Fort Bridger. I forgot to look up Fort Bridger. Where is Fort Bridger? Fort Bridger is in Wyoming, so we're still in Wyoming here. Okay, so I'm going to need to buy some supplies because I just got screwed over here. I'm going to need to buy 5 oxen. Jeez. I'll buy some food. 100 pounds. And then we'll leave. Once again, I have money. I might as well spend it. We're going to rest here while our health gets better. 5... Yeah, let's rest a week. Okay. That's probably going to be as good as we're going to get this time. So let's go ahead and go grueling and bare bones. And we'll move on and try for the best here. Like a couple extra days isn't the worst thing, I don't think. Let's go ahead and continue on the trail. 162 miles to Soda Springs. Let me type that in because I have no idea what state that's in. Oh. Find wild fruit. Okay, hooray. We'll size up the situation. I don't think they gave us too much here. How are we doing in supplies? I have 125 pounds of food. One of the issues is that at some point, it becomes too difficult to hunt for food. There's just no food around. So I'm trying to keep my food up. We'll do hunting one more time. I'm going to need to get out of here in order to do anything. Let's go ahead and shoot you. Boom. Just the one bear will do me. Like, even if it's a little bit less than that, shooting a bear. Wow, that squirrel is spazzing out a bit. Squirrel was not happy to see me, but just the one bear should be fine. Yeah. Okay. So we're good on food, at least for a little bit. Let's go ahead and go forward. Weather is hot, but that's okay. Everything seems to be okay for our health and everything. That's what I care about. Hattie has exhaustion. Okay. Find an abandoned wagon with 3 sets of clothes and 63 bullets. All right, we'll rest in town a bit. Well, not really town, but Soda Springs, by the way, is in Idaho. It's in Idaho. I don't know much about Idaho. So there's Soda Springs. Ooh, fancy. All right, so we will rest here a bit for like 5 days. We're doing well. I'm going to say that we're doing pretty well here. So health is poor, unfortunately. Let's talk to people. What do you have to say about Soda Springs? A young boy tells you, my job every day is to find wood for the cook fire. Sometimes it's very hard to find enough, so I store extra pieces in a box under the wagon. On the prairie, I gathered buffalo chips to burn when there wasn't any food. For those of you that don't know what buffalo chips is, that would be buffalo droppings. Let's go with that. Will be nice since this is kind of a kid's game. Let's go with that. We'll stop to rest. We'll rest for 7 days since everybody's exhausted. Okay. Looks like we're good to go. It is hot here, so we're going to continue on the trail here. From Soda Springs, it is 57 miles to Fort Hall. That doesn't sound too bad. Find wild fruit. Sweet. Okay, Fort Hall. Bad water. You're now at Fort Hall. Fort Hall is also in Idaho. Idaho is pretty skinny, so I don't imagine that we're going to be here very long, but we'll take a look. Ooh. Okay, we will buy some supplies. Yeah, things are just getting more expensive. We'll buy some food, and we'll buy 100 pounds of it. That should be fine for now. And then we will stop to rest once again, kind of like 7 days, even though it's so hot. It is the middle of June. Okay. So I think we're good to go now. Let's keep going at our grueling pace. I like resting in forts. You can also just kind of change your pace as necessary, but I like just kind of going fast and then resting there. Okay, 182 miles to the Snake River crossing. That one I don't have to look up. Snake River is Idaho. Well, it's on the Idaho. We'll be on the Idaho side at least. Inadequate grass. Okay, I do need to change things here. Bo has measles. Let's go ahead and change our pace. I don't really have a choice. Strenuous pace. Change food rations to filling. And then how much food do I have? 215. We should be good for a while. So let's go ahead and continue. Broken wagon axle. Would you like to try to repair it? I do have spares, but let's see if I can fix it. You're unable to repair the broken wagon axle. You must replace it with a spare part. Okay. I should have that spare part, though. Right? You find a wagon with a wagon axle, wagon tongue, and 42 bullets. I'll take it. Let's go ahead and change the pace again. And we're going to go steady. And we're going to hunt for food. I do want to try to get... Oh, that's a terrible spot. Yeah, we're in the desert now, so there might not be a lot for me here. I hate these controls. I don't really even want to shoot at anything too small, like the rabbits and the squirrels. Yeah, not worth the time. But there are like deer here. They probably call them antelope, but probably safer to say deer. Okay, getting to a spot where I can hit you. As I said, I'm not good at the hunting, but I'll do what I can if something shows up. Right, I'm good enough to make it. That's all that matters. But I'm not going to win any contests. All right. Already health is better. No, that's the wrong button. I want to get over here. There was a bear. Just not where... There we go. Got a deer. I probably need to get 2 deer. I don't think I can hit that from here. Just my positioning was bad on that. All right, 2 deer is good enough. We'll see if it's over 200. Yeah, 132. So you do need 2 deer. Okay, that is good enough for now. Let's go ahead and change our pace to grueling because everybody's in fair health and I'm feeding them, so they should be happy. Inadequate grass. Oh no! Hattie has dysentery. There is dysentery in the game. Very little water. You're now at the Snake River crossing. Would you like to look around? I would. Okay, there's the Snake River. Still a lot of Native Americans in the area, just throwing that out there. Okay, so we will stop to rest here for 5 days. Okay, our health is better, right? We've somehow cured dysentery, right? But maybe a couple more days. Okay, we will talk to people. It says right here in the Shively guidebook, you must hire an Indian to pilot you at the crossings of the Snake River, it being dangerous if not perfectly understood. But my husband insists on crossing without a guide, so says a frantic wife. But yes, that is the option. So, you must cross the river in order to continue. The river at this point is currently 1,000 feet across and 6 feet deep in the middle. So we can attempt to ford it. Obviously, that's going to be bad. It's too deep. We will fail. Caulk the wagon and float it across, but I wouldn't recommend that too often. You can attempt it, but the Snake River is pretty fast. Or we can hire an Indian to help. We can wait to see if conditions improve or get more information. We're going to hire somebody to help. A Shoshone guide says that he will take your wagon across the river in exchange for 2 sets of clothing. I will accept this offer. The Shoshone guide will help you float your wagon across. And off we go. Come on, wagon. Looks like we made it. You had no trouble floating the wagon across. Hooray! From the Snake River crossing, it is 114 miles to Fort Boise. Boise is in Idaho. I definitely know that. Very little water. We're going to need more food. So we're going to have to change our rations here to bare bones, and I am completely out of food, so I need to hunt for food. No! How dare you be in a position that I can't hit you? Gotcha. Okay. I'm probably going to have to hunt a few times here to try to get up on food. Luckily, we're still early enough in the season that there should still be deer around. So there's 61 pounds. That'll hold us for a bit, but we're going to need more than that. This is just a terrible setup. That's I guess a good spot for us. Maybe a little bit this way. But like if nothing shows up, yeah, I'm not going to be able to hit that. There we go. Got that deer. I'm going to be a little bit more liberal with my bullets now. We're getting close there. Oh, come on. I split the middle and then I was just like, well, I'll just wait, but no. Okay. More food, please. Oh, this looks awful. I guess I'll just kind of hope for stuff up here in this corner. That's really all I can do. It's my best bet. It's got the most room, I guess. But of course, there was a whole bunch of stuff down in that corner where I left. I can't make it to you in time. Told you that looked terrible. I figured it was my best bet, but what I didn't anticipate was that, like, they were only going to spawn things. Same here. This way. I'm trying to get over there. I can't. Can I not go that way? I want to get over. They won't let me in that. They won't let me through that. So just, yeah, awful. Awful, awful, awful. Get me in. Okay, that's better. That's good. I'll just hang out here. No need to really move around here. Yeah. Really only interested in the big things at this point. Bears are... there. Bears or antelope. We'll go with that. But deer's probably a better description. Bear! Bear! Got the bear! Okay. So, I think one more run, one more good run, and we'll be good. That's fairly good. Hopefully things spawn from the right side, and then... What did I just say? I don't think... Yeah, I can't get through that. It has to be on this side. Are you really not going to spawn? Oh, come on. That's just a tease. I don't want the squirrels. God. All right. Like I said, one more good one. Up here. Like there. Not like they're so hard to hit, and they only got like 2 pounds of food. That's just not fair. Come on, give me food. Like one. Okay, that's a good spot. Just spawn things. Like bottom left seems to be its best spawn area. What the hell was with that squirrel? Bear. I love that the bear will just walk up and like touch me and then walk away. And that's it. It's like, okay. Okay, so we should be good now. Let's continue on. inadequate grass, but we have plenty of food. One of the oxen is injured. I'm going to make it to town. Right. And then we've made it to Fort Boise. We're getting close. Boise, I believe, is about I've been told by people it's 3 hours, but I've been told by other people 6, so I don't know. Fort Boise. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to people here at Fort Boise. Aunt Rebecca tells you, my Aunt Rebecca? At every fort along the trail, prices have been higher than at the previous fort. This is outrageous. They're taking advantage of us. If I had the chance to do it again, I'd buy more supplies in Independence. That would make sense, but we're just going to go ahead and buy some food here. 100 pounds. That should be fine. I mean, we should have plenty of food, but really what I want that for is resting here. We'll rest for 5 days. We're doing fine on time, I believe. Okay. So, we should be good. Let's continue on the trail. And so far, we're doing really good for ourselves, I say. 160 miles to the Blue Mountains. Okay, how much? Yeah, and food just instantly went poor, so let's go ahead and try to repair the wagon tongue. You were able to repair it. All right, but we need to change our food rations to meager. Actually, let's change it to filling. And then we will continue on. Trying to go at like a breakneck pace here. And then we'll rest there at our next stop. The Blue Mountains. We'll take a look at the Blue Mountains. Ooh. Blue Mountains, I'm not sure. I think we're still in Idaho, but let's see. Blue Mountains are in Oregon, is what they're telling me. Okay, so we have crossed into Oregon territory at this point. Okay, let's talk to people. Marnie Stewart tells you, we followed the edge of the desert from Fort Boise to the forbidding wall of the Blue Mountains. The hills were dreadful steep. Locking both wheels and coming down slow, we got down safe. Poor animals, no grass or water for days. Wow. See how things are going for your animals then. Let's go ahead and stop to rest here for 5 days. And then let's continue on. We're doing well for ourselves. The trail divides here. You may, number 1, head for Fort Walla Walla, or 2, head for the Dalles. Walla Walla is in Washington. The Dalles is in Oregon, but they're both very close to the border. Yeah, that top one is Walla Walla. The left one is the Dalles. Let's go directly to the Dalles. Okay, 125 miles to the Dalles. Let's go. How am I doing on food? Very little water. Very little water. Okay. Lots of just little water. We're going to hunt for food at this point and see what I can do. This is a fairly good spot. Wait for him to come back, and boom, got the bear. Yeah, we're still kind of in like mountainous territory here. So, bears. Okay. Should be good to continue on. You find an abandoned wagon, but it is empty. Inadequate grass. All right, you're now at the Dalles. Let's go ahead and look around. I don't need to look this one up. The Dalles, as you can see, with now a capital T, because that's the name of the city. Here is the Dalles, and we've made it to the Columbia River. And that is where we need to go. Let's go ahead and talk to people at this point. Amy Witherspoon tells you, my cousin Lydia engaged passage down the Columbia with Indians, a canoe with 17 people and luggage. The wind blew so heavy they had to lay by. Near dark, high waves came up over their heads. Finally, they made it to shore safely. Okay. Let's go ahead and rest here. We'll rest for 7 days until everybody is in good health. Okay. Now we can continue on and see what we can do. The trail divides here. You may, 1, float down the Columbia River, or 2, take the Barlow Toll Road. I think we're going to play the minigame, which would be the Columbia River. Now, I haven't done it in this game before, so I'm going to try for the best. We're going to do what I can here. Let's float down the Columbia River. That is the mini game. The Barlow Toll Road is basically the same way that we have been playing the game to this point, but it costs money as well. So let's try to float down. Use the arrow keys to guide your raft through the rushing waters of the Columbia River. After passing the 3rd direction sign, land your raft at the trail to the Willamette Valley. Okay. We want to avoid the shore here. Let's go this way. Okay, so basically it's a momentum thing for this one. So if I hit left, it goes left until I tell it to stop. And then same with right. And up and down basically just do the same thing. So we're just going to try to float it here. Okay. There's our first sign. The way that we're going, we're going to want to go on the southern side, which is the bottom. I don't like this one bit. But we're going to make it through there. So that was the first. I'll be honest, I was expecting a lot worse than this. Yeah, I haven't played this one. Last time I didn't even make it here. So things are going a lot better for me, but there's the second one. So one more. And then we'll head for the shore. There's the third one. So let's go ahead and make our way down. Like down and right do the same thing. Okay, and down there. One moment, please. The Willamette Valley in Oregon. We made it by September 2nd. There it is. There's I believe that's the Willamette River, and God, that's one of the islands in the river. Is that Ross Island? Hard to say. I think it is, though. But yeah, that's Portland. I take that bridge most of the time. All right. Congratulations. You have made it to Oregon. Let's see how many points you have received. All right. So we got 5 people in good health. Because I got them in good health, I got 500 points for each person. Hooray. I have 1 wagon, 6 oxen, 7 spare wagon parts, 15 sets of clothing, 485 bullets, 56 pounds of food, $830 cash, so I get 2,795 points. To see if you qualify for the Oregon Top 10, please flip your diskette to side 1. All right, let's try that if we can. Switch there and hit the button. One moment, please. Congratulations, I made it. All right. Type your name as you would like to see it on the Oregon Top 10 list. There we go. Would you like to make any changes? Nope, we're good. And we did it. That's the Oregon Trail. We completed it. That is not a true experience of playing the Oregon Trail, though, because I kind of had a guide and got some things for me. Things were looking pretty good for me. So next time we'll try it, and we'll have a much harder time playing the game. But that is going to do it for this part of Oregon Trail. I've been Baller Scuba. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you laughed, I hope you learned, and I hope to see you next time for more Oregon Trail. Thanks for watching.